Who will win the coveted crown overall profit leader this year at WagerTalk? Multiple handicappers are in the running, and we took the current top three and packaged them together through the rest of the year for one low price, saving you thousands. Our current leaders are up a combined 287 units of profit so far in 2022. Andrew McKinnis is up 154 units, Dave Koken is up 76 units, and Tokyo Brandon is up 57 units. There are over 200 days left in 2022, and a 90-day all access is priced at $749 per handicapper. For a limited time, we will toss in the rest of the year for free. Yep, get our current top three profit leaders for 259 days for the price of $90, coming out to just $2.89 per handicapper.
All right, guys, welcome in. A very happy, what the heck is today? I think it is a Thursday, in fact, and we've got some KBO, some Asian baseball to talk about. Why? Because we continue to cash tickets with it. At least these two gentlemen do, as we welcome in Adam Trigger in the house, as well as Tokyo Brandon here, guys. What a week it has been for sure here, especially with the KBO and Japanese baseball. You guys have been doing a fantastic job as usual there, Trig. And as we get ready to head into the weekend, talk to me about what you got in store for us over at WagerTalk.com, man.
Yeah, it's been a great week so far. 6-1 run in the KBO. Hit my first 5% KBO play of the season yesterday with about as easy of a rocking chair winner as you could ask, under in Doosan Kia. It was 0-0 to the sixth inning, and there was never any offense going to happen in that game. That was a dead under, so a nice way to hit the first 5%er of the KBO season. And I've got another best bet for Friday morning is up now, just $9. So check that out. We'll look to see if we can make it 7-1 in the last 8 KBO plays.
Yeah, no, can't go wrong, guys. Been very profitable here as the season rolls on. Speaking of profits, Mr. Profit himself, Tokyo Brandon, live from the subways of Japan. Welcome in here, Tokyo. We appreciate the effort here, my man. But talk to us about what you got in store for us over at WagerTalk.com for this weekend.
Yeah, I'm live in a crowded train station in downtown Tokyo. So welcome to my world. Yesterday I had a 5-0 sweep in Asian baseball, 3-0 in the KBO, and 2-0 in Japanese baseball. Currently, I'm 32-19 in KBO, which is a 68% win rate, and I'm on a 7-0 run in the KBO currently. So yeah, things are going really good as far as I'm concerned, and there's a WagerTalk's doing a special for me right now, which is the top three cappers, which is Dave Koken, Andrew, and myself. As you saw, just Ruby was saying the special before the show started. So all three of us for the rest of 2002 for a special price. And I do have some plays out for tonight as well, and I'm going to talk about one of them in my best bet segment at the end of the show.
All right, I love it. A lot of different ways to make it a profitable evening here, guys. We're going to start by breaking down our featured matchup here coming up. And we're going to look at the KT Wiz versus the NC Dinos. Now, you were talking about KT here about a week ago here, in fact. So talk to me about the opportunity at hand here with the Wiz taking on the Dinos here on Adam Trigg.
Yeah, so last week we talked about KT, having to get it going. They were 3-10. And, that was actually, I believe they were 3-10 on Monday. I gave KT out as a best bet on the show. It won, and they haven't lost since, and they've looked a lot better. So a sweep of LG on the road, extremely impressive to be able to pull that off. And so KT is just doing kind of what I expected them to do to this point. They started to get hits with runners in scoring position. The pitching has always been good, and it's really, they got a great effort from Odrisamer Despaigne the other day. I believe it was Poe on Tuesday that tossed a gem, 7 innings, gave up nothing to LG. And I think that's the key to this game for KT as well. There's without a doubt, Jae-Sung Bae is the better starter here. Neither of these starters have gotten off to a great start, but the Bae is legit. He's 25 years old. He's one of the guys that I think with a good season or two might start to get looks from the major leagues, as many of these Korean pitchers do when they hit about 26, 27 years old, and that like 7-year sort of window starts to expire. Jae-Sung Bae is that guy if he can have a good season this season, I think. Min Hyuk Shin, not great, and hasn't been great this year. So the problem I have with getting behind KT is I think the value's kind of gone. Minus 155, minus 160 for a team that still doesn't have Baekho Kang and still doesn't hit particularly well. I lean toward KT here in the matchup, but the price sort of puts me off. So my lean here, KT on the money line. And I think if you can find a reasonable money line on the first 5, I think you've got a nice advantage with Bae over Shin from a pitching standpoint. But yeah, 2 teams that I still think are on the rise. I do lean KT.
All right, love it. Talk to me here, Tokyo Brandon, KT Wiz, NC Dinos. You in agreement? Think there's still some value here?
We can't go on forever with suspicious.
Yeah. Drink.
I've been listening to Elvis all week, so there's going to be some Elvis going on here. And by the way, what a great voice he had. So yes, I have been suspicious of. I won't get that graphic on here. I had been suspicious of KT because I didn't trust their lineup. But if you look at their last few games, they've hit 5 runs, 6 runs. So I think their lineup is back. Joe, you can stop laughing now. So I think their lineup is back, and I agree with Adam. Now, in a normal matchup, I would agree with Adam also that the price is a bit high in this matchup with NC. But if you look at Shin Min Hyuk and his career stats, his career whip is close to 1.5, and this year his whip is 2.05. I think, given the fact that he's just so awful, he's given up 7, 5, and 2 runs in his first 3 starts. I think this price is fine for KT. So I am on KT, but I'm going to take them first 5. They do have the better bullpen, but something inside me says take them first 5. So I'm on KT first 5 on the money line.
Okay, first 5 on the money line it is. There you go, guys. We got a nice little game to start off with here. Now, let's talk some takeaways from what we've seen over the last week or so. And Trig, I'll come to you. Talk to me about some of what you've noticed with the injuries here.
Yeah, so real quick, I agree with Brandon about KT on the first 5. They used a lot of their high leverage bullpen guys. So I think first 5 makes a lot of sense for if you're talking about that KT team. And we'll segue that into injuries, right? Like KT is one of those teams that comes into this season defending champs. On paper, they look great, but they lose Baekho Kang like a week before the season. They have since lost Cuevas to a undisclosed injury, and he's still not back. And the point I want to make here is this isn't like Major League Baseball or some of the pro leagues you're used to where there's another guy that can fill in. Oftentimes, 1 injury or 2 injuries can really derail one of these teams, and I think that creates huge betting opportunities if you can get out ahead of it and if you know who they are, and more importantly, who means the most to the number. I'll give an example from earlier this week. Chan-Ho Park for Kia leaves the Doosan game with an injury on Tuesday. He hasn't played since, and he's really the table setter in that lineup. And unsurprisingly, Kia really has not hit since he's been out. So, that to me is like, it's not going to always work like that. But I do think if you're ahead of the injury news, Samsung Lions come to mind, right? They were missing a few guys earlier this season, and they really underperformed. NC Dinos are still suffering from a couple guys being out, a couple guys still being suspended. So the point I'm trying to make here is the injuries, we talked about at the beginning of the season, and all of that played out, right? Like KT got hit with injuries. They're way underachieving to start. Samsung 7-10. The NC Dinos are still have a losing record. Injuries are going to happen, and it might happen to some of these teams at the top. And if you can get ahead of it and you can figure out who those guys are and how important they are, there's a lot of money to be made in fading teams that sort of get bit by the injury bug before the market catches up to it.
All right, talk to me here now, because injuries is an interesting angle here, Tokyo Brandon. But you too have been impressed with one of these teams that you've just recently seen here. Talk to me about KT and what you've noticed here.
Yeah, KT is the defending champion, and they're the defending champion because of their pitching. They have by far the best lineup in the KBO, if you look at their beginning of the season this year, their starting pitching has been outstanding. I mean, I had some reservations about Despagne because some of his numbers were a little bit concerning, but last night he was dominating. So I'm not too worried about KT's hitting because, like I said, in their last 3 games, they've hit 5 runs, 6 runs, albeit against bad competition. But the fact that they can put run production up like that gets me to think that they're on a bounce back. I mean, they're 6-10 right now. They're much more talented than that. They've got the best lineup in the KBO, and their bullpen is actually what do I have them ranked? I have their bullpen ranked number 3 right now, and I had them ranked number 1 last season. So I think there's going to be a major resurgence for KT, and I think we're going to see them catch a fire here. It's going to be even better when they get some of their injured players back. But at this moment right now, I definitely think KT is a buy-on team, and I'm going to be riding them because their starting pitching is just so darn good.
Yeah, we're taking a note here, guys, because there are some opportunities to cash a few tickets, which is exactly what both of these guys have been doing, which is why we'd encourage you to head over to WagerTalk.com, visit Adam Trigger, visit Tokyo Brandon, take advantage, guys, right now of the streaks that they are on here, really seeing it well in Asian baseball and the KBO, and best bets again all weekend long. Up, locked and loaded, ready to go at WagerTalk.com. So, Trig, let's focus on one of these series that are about to take place here this weekend in the KBO. Talk to me about which one. What do you got? The Tigers versus the Kiwoom. So, talk to me about this series beginning here tonight.
Yeah. So, just to tie it into what we just talked about, and one more point I wanted to make that leads us into this series, right? Like, these guys get hurt, but ultimately they probably come back. And so one of the things I'm looking for in this particular series is to see if Chan-Ho Park comes back for for Kia. Because if he does, then that's going to be, because they didn't put him on the DL, as far as I know, at least not yet. So if he just was day-to-day and he comes back, that's a really nice boost for a Kia offense that is now going to be undervalued because they haven't done much the past couple days, but they've been without him. So let's start on Friday in this series. That's tomorrow's game. Now, I'd actually lean to Kiwoom in the opener here. Reason being, Eric Jokic, one of the best pitchers in this league for, probably going on 4 seasons now, 3 or 4 seasons. Anytime you can kind of get him at minus 140, is typically, you don't see that very often. And, Kiwoom's coming off back-to-back losses in the series with SSG earlier this week. So potentially a bounce-back spot. And Kia's probably still kind of a fade with Park out of the lineup. Williams, I don't know enough about him yet to be like overly confident going against him. But I'm still, this just missed best bet status for me. I think if it was a little cheaper or if I was a little bit more confident in the spot for Kiwoom, I actually would have made it there with them for tomorrow. So we'll call it a strong lean to Kiwoom in the opener. But I think if you look, there might be opportunity to back Kia later in this series. Yuli Lee is going to get the ball at some point, whether it be Saturday or Sunday for Kia. And he's really probably, Kia's probably best, behind Yang. He's certainly their import pitcher with the most upside. And he's been solid this year. He hasn't gone overly deep into games, but this Kiwoom lineup, I think, could potentially struggle against the lefty. So this might be a really nice lineup for him to have a really good start against. So uh, Lee's going to pitch later in this series. I would look to potentially back Kia with him on the mound, and then I'll also just like again, I can't stress it enough. The Kia offense has looked a little lost. They have a top heavy lineup, and not having Park in the leadoff spot, they've had a hard time sort of getting innings going or getting runners on base. So Kiwoom, I would lean toward them on Friday. I would look to hopefully Park is back, and maybe we can back Lee later in the series. But I still think Kia overall as a team is a little undervalued, and I still think Kiwoom overall as a team is a little overvalued. So I'll kind of hope Jokic gets it done in the opener, and I'll see if I can find some value on Kia later in the series.
All right, great stuff. That's what we're talking about here. Great series coming up here, guys. Plan of attack. That's how you end up cashing tickets with the KBO and the NPB, and nobody knows that better than Brandon. So, Brandon, I think you're going to be looking at SSG and Hanwha, I believe, this weekend.
That is correct. I like this series because we have basically the juggernaut of this season, which is SSG. They're playing out of their minds. And then we have the perennial doormat, Hanwha. But as we've said in previous shows, as handicappers, we are not betting, I think, the Yankees are going to win. I think SSG is going to win. Anyone can just say, I think so-and-so is going to win. What we're doing is we're looking for opportunities in the numbers to take advantage of and win money. So when I see a mismatch like this, I always want to look and find out if they're overpricing or underpricing something. So I'll get to this in my best bet section at the end of the show. But I think when you have the best team going against the worst team like we have in a series like this, it shows opportunities for overpricing and underpricing certain things, and we can take advantage of that in our betting. SSG has the best bullpen, they have the best lineup, and they have a really good starting rotation, whereas Hanwha is close to last in run production, they're close to last in bullpen, and they're close. They do have a good rotation, but they're close to last in almost every other measurable statistic available. So what I'm going to do in this series is I'm going to look for opportunities to take Hanwha in, to get runs, or I'm going to be looking for over-unders that I think the bookmakers are going to be overpricing or underpricing. And my best bet tonight is a perfect example of that. So we'll get to that in just a minute.
All right, I love it. There you go. And SSG dominating here on what's going on. Let's take a look quick at the standings here, guys, if we can, if you got those, because it'll be able to show you exactly what he's talking about there with Landers. I mean, 15-2 tells you everything you need to know. The Doosan Bears right behind there, the LG Twins. So it's getting. The separation has begun for sure here with the upper echelon really starting to take advantage. So from a best bet standpoint here, talk to us, Trig. Who are you looking at? Who are you keying in on?
Yeah, so I think you guys, spoiler alert, think you're going to get a little bit of a correlated best bet here with me and Brandon. But I'm going to go to I'm going to the game that he just spoke about, the series he just spoke about, SSG Hanwha. And I'll start by saying, this was really close to being a client play for me. The only reason it's not is because the league itself is profiling toward lower scoring and toward unders so far this year. We talked about it on Monday. All the metrics sort of point to lower scoring games. But if I was ever going to step in and go with an over, I think this would be the spot. The 8.5 total seems quite low. The numbers for your respective starting pitching seem like there's regression on the horizon. Yun Kyung Hyuk No, I know I say these names backwards, but anyway, No for SSG, 38 years old, comes over from Lotte, where he really struggled last year. 7.35 ERA, 1.83 WHIP in 14 appearances, which is awful. He's 38. He's off to an unbelievable start this year. I think some of that has to do with being on a good team that gives him some runs. And so I know Hanwha is the sort of the bottom tier in this league, but they've actually kind of hit the ball a little bit. They're not the worst offensive team. If you look at all the offensive stats, they're near the bottom, but they're not the worst. And one thing that they've done considerably well so far this year is hit with runners in scoring position. Tauchman, former Yankee, former Rocky, has actually been tremendous. And Hanwha, one thing that they've lacked the past couple seasons is they've gotten nothing from their import hitters. SSG, they're leading the league in every offensive metric, and I'm not worried. They're going to get quite a few Hanwha relievers here. I can't see Min going extremely deep. So I just think there's a lot of opportunity for runs in this game. And I think SSG can hit anyone. I think Hanwha can hit no, and potentially what relievers they see from SSG. So this seems like a spot where both teams at least get to 4. And if that's the case, there's a really good chance we're getting over 8.5.
All right, good stuff there. Love it. Best bets, guys. SSG and Hanwha over 8.5. How about it? Talk to us here, Brandon, as you wait patiently for your train, and we certainly appreciate you coming to us live from Tokyo, my man. But talk to us as far as the best bet here tonight. Correlated for us. What's going on?
Okay, so this was not planned, but Adam and I are actually looking pretty much exactly the same way, but I'm betting it a little bit differently. So if you're a bookmaker, you have to look at it like this. When you have the best team playing against the worst team, you basically, on the money line, baseball is not like basketball where you have a point spread, you have a money line. So if you're looking at this, you have to make them minus 250 or minus 210. You just have to. So if you don't do that, then everyone's going to bet the favorite and the casino's going to lose all their money. So what they have to do when they make a 210 or a 250 favorite is they have to factor that into the team totals. So if you're a 210 favorite, you can't have both team totals the same. So what they have to do is make one team really high and make the other team really low. Mm-hmm. So they've made Hanwha in this game a 2.5 team total, which I think is way too low. Like Adam said, if you look at No in his career, he's awful. He's absolutely awful. He's off to a good start this season, but he's not reliable at all. He has a career whip of 153. He walks almost 5 guys a game in his career, and he's almost 40 years old. So I think Hanwha should be able to get at least 3 runs in this game. They're averaging almost 4 a game. So I think the bookmakers are just forced to make this team total 2.5 for Hanwha because of the money line odds being such a discrepancy in that. So I'm going to take advantage of that number. I'm going to take Hanwha to get 3 runs in this game. And actually, I put that out as a client play about 40 minutes ago. It's a 2% or a 3% play that I sent to my clients. So I'm on Hanwha over 2.5.
Boom! There you go here, guys. Opportunities, a little same game going on here. I love it. And don't forget, of course, the series that they referred to. But do not forget, guys, best bets will be available here all throughout the weekend. Visit Adam Trigger, visit Tokyo Brandon. Take advantage here, guys, now of their knowledge and of their handicapping ability here of the KBO and of the Japanese Professional League. I mean, Tokyo Brandon's in Tokyo right now at a train station. So trust me, man, he's where he needs to be. So take advantage, guys. Visit both of them right now at WagerTalk.com. All right, just again a quick recap. Go ahead.
I even sang in a Japanese train station for all of you. So
yeah,
that's
exactly
worth another drink. I'm going to break out my Fireball whiskey. I'm going to break out my Fireball whiskey for the next show. I'm going to be drinking on the show next time.
All right, well, now you're going to have to sing it because the acoustics are so good at the train station. You're going to have to sing your way out of the show. No, I'm only kidding. Don't do it. So here, guys. Oh, God. All right, we got to move. All right, guys, best of luck here. Thank you very much for hanging with us. Adam Trigger, Tokyo Brandon, guys. We appreciate it. We'll be back again on Monday. In the meantime, best of luck with your plays this weekend, guys. We'll talk to you again on Monday. Good luck.
Who will win the coveted crown overall profit leader this year at WagerTalk? Multiple handicappers are in the running, and we took the current top 3 and packaged them together through the rest of the year for one low price, saving you thousands. Our current leaders are up a combined 287 units of profit so far in 2022. Andrew McKinnis is up 154 units, Dave Koken is up 76 units, and Tokyo Brandon is up 57 units. There are over 200 days left in 2022, and a 90-day all access is priced at $7.49 per handicapper. For a limited time, we will toss in the rest of the year for free. Yep, get our current top 3 profit leaders for 259 days for the price of $90, coming out to just $2.89 per handicapper.